So let's talk about Type 5 and Type 6 reel-to-reel tapes. These are really the high-performance tapes that were released for studio use. The first one that we'd like to talk about was the Ampex Grand Master. They brought out the Grand Master partially as a consumer product in the late 70s. This is type number 356 or 357. It's a +6 tape. That means you get 12 dB further dynamic range on this tape than you would on a Scotch 111. This hit the gong on output, really surpassing the ability of most machines at the time to reach that kind of output. That means you'll reach the limit of the electronics in the machines before you'll reach the limit of the tape. But the Ampex Grand Master tape later became the 456 and 457 from Ampex. These are the tapes that had 90% market share in the 70s and early 80s for studio use. They were just such great tapes. Not only did they have fantastic sound, fantastic output, they were just great all around. Unfortunately, we know about the sticky shed issues, but just from the standpoint of performance, we want to talk about these as they're groundbreaking tapes and kind of changed the market for them. Scotch tapes that fit into that category were the 226 and 227s. Those had similar output. We also had BASF that brought out the 911. It now became RMG, and then now it's recording the masters. They sell the 911 tapes. Those tapes also have that output of +6, and they're very well used. There was other Scotch, I believe there was a couple of other numbers that were brought out. The 986 also had the +6, but there weren't many manufacturers that brought out +6 tapes. There's one more type on top of that called Type 6 tapes or +9, and that is the Ampex 499 or Grand Master Gold. These have a 15 decibel increase in dynamic range over the Scotch 111s. Truly magnificent tapes. I've used them extensively in our studio. I love Ampex 499. They also had what's called Quantity GP9, which is similar to Scotch 996, which is also a tape with that output, and a similar tape with that output from BASF is the BASF 900. So this is really the last of the research and development on tapes for studios. This is really the culmination of their performance and the maximum output they ever achieved. You're not really going to see these tapes other than in lots from studios, or maybe some of the people that are producing similar tapes to this day. But very high output tapes. The machines need to be adjusted for them and used for them, and they're highly recommended. Unfortunately, most of them, except for the BASF and AGFA lineage through RMG, and recording the masters, most of that stuff all needs to be baked today. But that represents really the end of the line in terms of research and development for audio tapes, and especially for studio use.